I'd like to take a moment to let you all know about a new non-profit organization started by my brother Craig. It's called Treats and Truth. They fill oversized brown lunch bags with snack items, chips, crackers, popcorn, cookies, etc. Also, a bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitary wipes, and most importantly, a small gospel-tract book of John. No cigar? I'll have to talk to him about that. The bags are then hand-delivered to the homeless and people in need in and around the Los Angeles area. Let's help get this ministry off the ground. They're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, so any and all donations are tax-deductible and greatly appreciated. Visit their website at treatsandtruth.org. Check out the show notes for the link. Also, please follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Welcome to episode 241 of the Burning Bush Podcast, where we share the message of the Bible while enjoying a good cigar. Hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you've joined me. In this episode, we're reading the New Testament book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, with commentary from the notes in the Charles Spurgeon Study Bible, and I'm smoking the Zino Platinum Scepter series Grandmaster 5.5 by 52. Let's go to cigarsinternational.com and see what they have to say. Introducing the Scepter series. Zino Platinum Scepter is a handsome feller. That much is obvious at mere glance. The cigar industry muckety-mucks always rate this highly, but they happen to be right in this case. It's rich and flavorful off the bat, with a complex, varied, and delicious taste and a wildly intense aroma. You'll immediately sense the bold, assertive flavors dancing about the palate. But it retains a mellow smoothness and refined elegance thanks to its 4+ year aged Dominican and Peruvian tobaccos, an inviting Connecticut Ecuador wrapper. Packed with flavor, you will savor this bad boy, even if the price makes you cringe a little. Zino Platinum Scepter series received a well-deserved 91 rating, noting, "A well-made perfecto with a silky wrapper. It has a fine draw and burn, showing a big, creamy, chewy flavor with hints of coffee, cocoa, and nuts. A long finish." And the profile is mild to medium. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut. Fillers are Dominican and Peruvian. And the vitolas are the Chubby Perfecto 4.9 by 54 and the Grandmaster Robusto 5.5 by 52. That is the Zino Platinum Scepter series. So let's get into our reading of 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I am reading from the English Standard Version, the ESV, and verse 1. "For I do not want you to be unaware, brothers, that our fathers were all under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink. For they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ." And Spurgeon comments on verses 1 through 4. "Our ancestors were all under the cloud, all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. They all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink." The possession of privileges is not everything. All those who were with Moses in the wilderness had privileges of a high order. Did they not all pass through the Red Sea and so escape from their powerful and cruel foes? Did they not all drink water that gushed from the flinty rock? Were they not all fed with manna from heaven? Yet their privileges did not save them, for while they had the 5 privileges mentioned in these 4 verses, they fell into the 5 great sins we read about in verses 6 through 10. And so their privileges, instead of being a blessing to them, only increased their condemnation. And continuing in verse 5, nevertheless, with most of them God was not pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things took place as examples for us, that we might not desire evil as they did. Do not be idolaters, as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. We must not indulge in sexual immorality, as some of them did, and 23,000 fell in a single day. We must not put Christ to the test, as some of them did, and were destroyed by serpents, nor grumble, as some of them did, and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now these things happened to them as an example, but they were written down for our instruction, on whom the end of the ages has come. Therefore, let anyone who thinks that he stands take heed, lest he fall. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. And Spurgeon comments on verse 13, no temptation has come upon you except what is common to humanity. Paul offered several comforts by which fainting spirits may be revived. First, none of us have been tried in any unusual way. We may think we have been tried more than others, but it is only our lack of knowledge of the trials of others that leads us to imagine our trials are unique. Second, we have a far better source of comfort than that. But God is faithful. We are not faithful in the full sense of the term, but God is faithful to all his promises. What more do we need than the faithfulness of God to banish from our minds all dark forebodings? Further comfort for a tried and tempted believer arises from God's power, God's judgment, and the restraint God puts on the temptation. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. God has power to limit temptation. This is clear from the experience of Job. Who besides God knows how much we are able to bear? That God is master of the situation gives us great comfort. Comfort also can be found in that God makes a provision for the tempted, a way of escape for his people. With the temptation, he will also provide a way out. There is a proper way to escape from a temptation. There are many improper ways, and woe to the person who makes use of any of them. But there is only one proper way out, and that is the way God has made. The right way is always of God's making, and therefore any of us who are now exposed to temptation or trial are not to make our own way of escape out of it. Finally, we can take comfort in the support God supplies in the trial, so that you may be able to bear it. Sometimes our way of escape is not to avoid the trial, but to be able to bear it, knowing that if we must have the trial, we will only have the beneficial part of it. And picking back up in verse 14, therefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to sensible people. Judge for yourselves what I say. The cup of blessing that we bless, is it not a participation in the blood of Christ? The bread that we break, is it not a participation in the body of Christ? Because there is one bread, We who are many are one body, for we all partake of the one bread. Consider the people of Israel. Are not those who eat the sacrifices participants in the altar? What do I imply then? That food offered to idols is anything, or that an idol is anything? No, I imply that what pagans sacrifice, they offer to demons and not to God. I do not want you to be participants with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. Shall we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Eat whatever is sold in the meat market without raising any question on the ground of conscience. For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. If one of the unbelievers invites you to dinner and you are disposed to go, eat whatever is set before you without raising any question on the ground of conscience. But if someone says to you, "This has been offered in sacrifice," then do not eat it, for the sake of the one who informed you, and for the sake of the conscience. I do not mean your conscience, but his. For why should my liberty be determined by someone else's conscience? If I partake with thankfulness, why am I denounced because of that for which I give thanks? So whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Give no offense to Jews or to Greeks or to the church of God, just as I try to please everyone in everything I do, not seeking my own advantage, but that of many, that they may be saved. That's the end of this episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the Charles Spurgeon Study Bible, as well as today's cigar. Also, Groundworks Ministries for daily Bible studies and devotionals, Treats and Truth Ministry, where you can get involved in helping to spread the gospel to and be a blessing to the homeless, and the Burning Bush merchandise store, where you can pick up some items to help spread the word about the show. If you know anyone who needs to hear this, please let them know about the podcast and help share the message of the Bible, the hope we have in Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ. If you'd like to contact me, you can email me at steve@theburningbushpodcast.com, which is linked in the show notes as well. So until next time, have a great day, have a great cigar, and God bless.